Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about solving two-step equations. Now, yesterday we talked about solving one-step equations. In the past, we've also dealt with one-step equations when we dealt with proportions, okay? So doing two-step equations is very similar, okay? Instead of just doing one step, there's going to be two, okay? And we're going to kind of do the reverse of the order of operations, and you're going to see what I mean. So first off, number one, undo addition or subtraction with the inverse. Remember that inverse is the opposite, okay, operation. So if you're going to do addition, or if it's addition, you're going to do subtraction to undo it, okay? Or if in the equation it has subtraction, you're going to add, okay? You're going to do the opposite. The second thing you're going to do, undo multiplication or division with the inverse operation, okay? So as you can see here, we're kind of working backwards a little bit. We're not going parentheses, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. We're not going down those steps. We're going backwards. We're going to undo the addition or subtraction first, and then we're going to undo the multiplication or division. And you're going to see that in just a second. 3, you're going to isolate the variable, okay? and these two kind of go hand in hand. And then 4, you're going to check your answer, okay? And I'm going to show you how to check your answer. Now, we're going to use these models to solve an equation, okay? So, when we're looking at a model like this, all right, we see that there are two x bars, okay? Well, if there's two x bars, that should be represented by 2x. All right, now we have 4 blocks of 1, okay? They are not negative, so 4 blocks of 1, we will be adding 4. And we have equals, and we have 3 blocks of 1, so that would be 3. Okay, so our expression is x plus 2, or 2x plus 4 equals 3, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to undo the addition or subtraction. So when we're solving these two-step equations, we're always trying to find the variable, okay? So that's what our main goal is to get the variable by itself. So what we want to do is we want to get this 4, we want to get everything, in this case, we want to get everything on the right side and the x on the left, okay, because that's the x is on the left, so that's where we want to keep it. So this is adding 4, so we're going to have to subtract 4 from both sides, okay. So when we subtract 4, that gives us 0. Then we're left with 2x is equal to negative 1. All right. Now once we get here, we're back at our one-step equation. Okay. We want to isolate. So we've done the first step. Okay. So I told you that 2 and 3 go hand in hand. So we're going to undo the multiplication or division. Well, this is multiplication. Okay. And when we undo the multiplication, we're actually isolating the variable in the process, okay? Because we're moving that 2 away from x, okay? So that gives us x is equal to, well, negative 1/2. Now, if you want to write it in a decimal, that's fine. Negative 0.5, okay? So, like I said, solving two-step equations is very similar to the one-step equations, okay? All right, let's look at this next one. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3x. All right, and we have 2 positive 1, so that's a plus 2. And that's going to equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those are 8 blocks of 1. Okay, so now we have 3x plus 2 equals 8. Okay, so when we do these, first we want to undo the addition or subtraction. In this case, we're adding, so we have to do the opposite operation, the inverse. So we're going to minus 2 to both sides. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. Okay, so those 2's will equal 0. So we have 3x is equal to, well, 8 minus 2 is 6. Okay, so there's our first step. The second and third, remember, they go hand in hand. We're going to undo the multiplication. Here's the multiplication. Okay, your coefficient and your variable, you're multiplying those two. You need to divide to undo the multiplication, and you'll divide the coefficient. Okay, so the 3's will equal 1, so that just leaves you with x. And then you got 6 divided by 3. Well, that's pretty easy. That's 2. Okay, so this one you have 2. All right. Now I'm gonna show you how to check your answers on these bottom 3. Okay. Okay, let's go with this one. We got 10 plus 3k equals 22. Okay. Now, when you have a problem like this, if you notice, it's switched, isn't it? Those terms are switched around. Well, we're not going to subtract 3k from this side. Okay. We're basically combining our like terms first. So we want to combine this with this. If there's no sign in front of this, then that will be a positive. So if that is a positive 10, we have to subtract 10 from it. Okay, we want to get that constant right here to 0 on this side. So those will make 0. We're left with 3x is equal to 22 minus 10 is 12. Okay, now once we get to this part, we have to divide, do a one-step equation and divide 3 on both sides because we want k by itself. And then we have 12 divided by 3, which gives us 4. Okay, so to check this, we need to write the equation over again. Okay, now I know I've shown some of you all in class, but I know some of you all are not here on how to do this. All right, so we have a k value of 4. Well, if I have a k value of 4, I'm going to plug 4 into where my k was. Okay, and placing parentheses around this tells me that I'm multiplying it by this 3. Okay, so now I have 10 plus, well, 3 times 4 is 12 is equal to 22. Okay, so I'm going to bring my 22 down, and I have 10 plus 12. Well, 10 plus 12 is 22. Okay, so it's always a good idea, if you're not so sure, is to go back and check. And you can plug your value of your variable back into your equation. Okay, now when you do that, you need to place parentheses around it. Okay, that value, and well, in some cases you might not have a coefficient with it, but if you do have a coefficient with it, you would multiply your coefficient to what your value is for k. So you'd multiply these two. Okay, because that's what we're doing up here. When this coefficient and variable are right next to each other, that's multiplication. Okay, all right, let's go to the next one. They flipped it around a little bit. We got 19 equals 4p minus 5. Well, that's okay, okay? It's got the coefficient and the variable on the right-hand side. It doesn't make a difference, okay? We're still going to try to isolate p Okay, we don't care what side it's on. So first we got to deal with that minus 5. So if you're subtracting 5, you need to add 5 to it. All right, and that makes that 0. All right. So negative 5 plus 5, well, that's 0. So I have to add 5 to both sides. So I'm going to get 24 is equal to 4p. Okay. Now I'm back to my one-step equation. I'm going to divide each side by 4 because I want p by itself. Okay. I got 24 divided by 4. Now remember, in your calculator, you'll do 24 divided by 4. All right. That's what it's going to look like in a calculator. When you divide those, you get 6. Okay. Now again, let's check it. All right, so we have 19 is equal to 4. We're going to place the value that we have for p in for p. Okay, so we're going to plug in that 6 for p. And then now we can solve it. So 19 is equal to 4 times 6, which is 24, minus 5. 24 minus 5 is 19. Okay, so that checks out. Okay, sorry. So that one checks out. All right, let's look at the third one. Now we have r divided by 2. All right, so there's division. So if we have a division, what are we going to do? We're going to undo multiplication or division in that second step. So we need to multiply. All right, so we're worried about addition or subtraction first. We need to move this 8 to the other side. We're subtracting 8, so we need to add 8. Okay, and we need to do that to both sides. So now we're left with r over 2 and 16 plus 8 is 20. That's 24. Okay. Now, this is division. Okay, set up as a fraction. So in order to get rid of division, we need to multiply. And that little dot, remember, is multiplication. I told you we weren't going to use the x anymore because if we're using variables, it might get us confused. So now we got to multiply, okay? Because when we multiply by this, we're multiplying by 2 over 1, okay? So we would think of this as 1 over 2. So when you multiply that, that gives you 1. Okay? So multiply each side by 2. So your 2's will go away, gives you 1. R is equal to 24 times 2. Well, 24 times 2 is 48. Okay? So now let's write our equation again. All right, there's our equation. Let's plug in 48 for our r value because that's what we got. 48 divided by 2 minus 8 is equal to 16. So 48 divided by 2 should give us 24. Okay, then we'll just bring the rest of the equation down. So now I have 24 minus 8. Well, 24 minus 8 is 16. Which is equal to 16. Sorry, I did it again. All right, so 48 divided by 2 minus 8 is equal to 16. So we have 24 minus 8 is equal to 16. So this right here, 24 minus 8, well, that's 16. Okay, which is equal to 16. Okay, so if you're not sure about your variable, the value that you got, plug it back in and check your answer. Okay? Just plug it back into the equation. It doesn't take very long to do that. Okay? Now, if you're like, well, I don't want to write all that out and I still want to check it, well, all right, so you know you got 19, right? So we can put this straight into the calculator. And watch, we can do 4 times 6, okay, plus 5. Sorry. 4, I did it again. You need to put parentheses around your multiplication. Okay? Minus 5. All right? So 4 times 6 minus 5. 4 times 6 minus 5. 19. Okay? Well, I guess you don't have to put it around in parentheses because the calculator knows that they have to do the order of operations. So they do this first and then subtract it. Okay? So you can just plug it in. So that would be 4 times, in this case, P. Okay? 4 times P minus 5. And that gives you the same answer. Okay? So it's possible that you can check it on the calculator without having to write anything down. Now today you're going to have about 10 questions, okay, on your assignment. And it's just more practice just like these. Okay? Now, well, we'll talk about the next video that you will have is solving two-step equations with rational numbers. Okay? So it's just revisiting, adding integers, subtracting, multiplying, dividing them. Okay? So watch the video, complete the assignment, and I will see you all the next time that you get to come to school.